I started kind of playing with sound a few years ago. I was just curious. I'm a double major with computer science and studio art, and right now they're really starting to kind of mesh as I get deeper into each of them. And so I've gotten into music production in the last year, so I've been producing a lot of electronic music and really getting into synthesizers because it allows me to kind of build sounds using math, using these synthesizers that are all based on sine waves or sawtooth waves or square waves, and just really figuring out, mathematically it looks like this, what's it going to sound like, and being able to predict that a little bit and then use the computer to create the sounds I want to hear, whether or not I have a physical element that will make those sounds. I think art's more interesting when it's something that's exciting to you. And so since I'm really interested in making music and I'm really interested in computers, when I let that kind of butt up against my art, the results have been much more interesting.
A lot of times people think that, well, it has to be art or it has to be science. No, I think that art and science can work together in very fruitful ways to understand the world that we live in. One thing that's really awesome for me in helping curate Interconnect is being able to see other people's work and also have conversations about the connections and intersections of art and science that this show is fundamentally about.
The piece that I'm going to show at Interconnect is something I came up with for my advanced concepts in drawing class. And I kind of expanded on the concept I'd worked with for the last 2 years of using sound to make a drawing in different ways. When I started working on this piece, I was doing a lot with broken glass and trying to arrange things in a very orderly fashion and then let the sound sort of introduce this element of randomness and let it move based on the sound waves and see what would happen, if it would happen the same way every time, if I set it up the same way. And then I eventually moved toward water because it was just, visually it was more interesting.
Now, that rhythm will probably double when I go up the tempo.
I'm really interested in how we can use 3D printers for fine art purposes. I am a practicing sculptor and painter, so what I'm doing is I'm printing out containers and then painting them, filling them with paint so that they leak paint out onto a surface and then dry. One of the things I'm really interested in doing is finding glitches in the printing process, essentially, and exposing those and using those glitches to make interesting 3D printed objects that interact with paint in surprising ways. I'm excited to see what kind of collaborations that will happen at Interconnect. We're going to have quadcopters, 3D printed sculptures, sound installations, video installations and animations. One of the things I'm most excited to see is some of the 3D projection mapping, which is mapping onto three-dimensional surfaces, which is something a little bit in the way of science fiction, but I'm excited to see it.
Interconnect's going to feature a lot of pieces that in some way implemented technology to create the art that you're seeing, which is really interesting because we're really doing a nice job of kind of crossing that divide between art and engineering and sciences. They're meshing together in a pretty interesting way.
I spend time here at the Makerspace a lot. We're trying to create a space that allows for collaborative learning and interdisciplinary learning as well. So having art majors come in and learn how to code, having engineers team up with artists to create a project that neither one of them may have been able to fully realize on their own. One thing that is great about Interconnect and some of the other events that we're planning throughout the year here at Makerspace is bringing people from across campus to the Makerspace, whether it's in book arts, whether it's in dance, whether it's in the business school, and letting them figure out how they can make this technology work for them in fruitful and innovative ways.
If I knew what I wanted to do at 20, I think that'd be pretty astounding. It changes every year. You know, I've thought I wanted to be an astrophysicist before. I thought I wanted to be an animator at Pixar. Right now I want to keep making music. I love DJing and I love producing music. I love making visual art too. It's a lot of fun. Whatever I do, I want it to involve computers and music and art. I really don't know what it's going to be yet. I'm just going to kind of keep diving into what's interesting to me and then see what comes out of it.